Sheila, many parents think that it is not necessary to tell the child that they are adopted and they don't want to disclose and there is a hesitation around it. What do you think? Should the parent tell the child about adoption or not?
Yes, yes, and yes. Parents should absolutely disclose or tell their children about being adopted. First and foremost, children have the right to know. Secondly, when we do not tell our children certain things, you look at the nature of secrets. Very often secrets of this nature are usually about bad things, negative things, things we are ashamed about or embarrassed about, and that's why we keep them secret.
Yes.
Take child sexual abuse, for instance. People are reluctant to disclose about issues such as this. Take, for instance, marital issues between a couple. Many are hesitant to disclose some of these things. They're seen as deeply private also because they're somewhat ashamed of it. So if we do not tell children that they have been adopted, then there is this whole negativity surrounding adoption. Adoption becomes a bad thing and something to be ashamed of or embarrassed about.
Okay.
Something the parents were compelled to do, didn't want to do. So then the child develops anxieties around it. When he or she finally comes to know that she's been adopted, the question is then, if it was all right and you really were happy, and if this was a joyous and wonderful thing,
then why would you?
Why would you keep it a secret? Why didn't you tell me? So something funny about this then.
Okay.
So for children to accept it and to be accepting and happy and joyous about it will only happen if you are, and your being happy and joyous about it will only reflect if you're open about it.
Okay.
And you communicate openly about it, and that because that indicates that you have no problem talking about it. There's no secrets about it. It was a great thing for us. Yet another related issue and reason is that children start to develop notions of the self. Who am I? Notions of the family, a family, my family, at a very young age, and they're doing it all the time. And this is based on the experiences that the child has within the family, whatever they may be.
Okay.
So, the story of this family, the journey of this family, my role within it, who I am in this family. These are narratives that start to develop as young as 1 to 2 years of age. Even if they can't articulate it at that point, they're still internalizing these stories and narratives in a sensory sort of way, which means through what they see and hear and feel, even if they can't verbally express it.
Okay.
So when a child is told nothing about the adoption, and suddenly at the age of 13 or 15 or 16, either the parents decide to disclose or the child hears it elsewhere, it comes as a huge shock, because this was never part of my family's narrative. Where is this story suddenly coming from? And that's where the emotional and behavioral issues occur in relation to disclosure, because these sudden disclosures or a sudden information on adoption can create such anxiety, because a child may be unsure as to how to accommodate this new, completely out of the blue narrative into an otherwise very nicely woven narrative of the family, perhaps.
Okay.
Child doesn't know where to place it, so there is confusion, there is worry, there is fear and doubt.
Okay.
So these are some of the reasons why it is very important to disclose to children about their adoption status. And last but not least, if parents do not tell children about this, children are bound to hear from elsewhere. And when they hear in ways that are not palatable or that are very negative about adoption, it can be very emotionally damaging. So, it could be a relative who is angry and says, well, you are not even your parents' real child. You were just picked out of somewhere and so on. So then you see the whole adoption thing gets presented in a very negative way. And or it could be at school, somebody else's parents knew, told their child about it, and that child had a fight with your child, and then this kid said, you know what, your parents picked you out of a dustbin, you don't even belong to them.
Yeah, then it will be a huge trauma to the child.
Absolutely, it would be very traumatic, hearing it from someone else and in these really horrible ways. So it is best for the parents to disclose in ways that are age appropriate, in ways that are palatable to the child, in sensitive ways, and with narratives of adoption that are imbued with joy.
Yes.
And wonder and acceptance and family feeling, not negativity and like it could come if it came from somewhere else. But not least is because children absolutely have the right to know. It's their story.
Yes.